So, emotional intelligence is something that's been spoken about so much in the last 20 odd years. And every time you speak about emotional intelligence, you also find the reference which says that recognize your emotions, share your emotions, talk to people, tell them about your emotions. And one of the problems that's happened, not just because of this, but in general, also this problem exists. So let me not say the problem that has happened, but a problem that exists, let me put it like that, is that for many of us, if we naturally label ourselves as emotional, then we are very used to dumping our emotion on others. Similarly, when we go through some emotional intelligence literature or training, and when it tells us recognize your emotion and share it with others, we again start processing that raw emotion and putting it out there at people, right? Now, think about this. You walk into a room, you are feeling disturbed about something, it's a room of people you are comfortable with, blah, 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 blah. You just blurt out everything. You put all that frustration, and suddenly that energy of the room shifts, and the entire room is frustrated. Or think about this, you come back tired from office, you're at home, your family members sitting, for whatever reason there is noise in the house, you want a little peace, and you get disturbed and you start screaming at the family. And you tell them, I need peace, I'm very disturbed, I had a very bad day. What are you doing? Or the other way around, you came very nice and peaceful, but the home environment got disturbed, and people at home, your spouse or parents or somebody, they jumped at you and they started sharing whatever they wanted to share because they had waited so long to speak to you. So often, in the name of speaking and sharing, often in the name of getting work done, often in the name of progressing, often in the name of being comfortable in that set of people, or thinking that these people will understand, many of us are being emotionally honest and dumping our emotions without really being emotionally intelligent. It's important to be honest, but that honesty cannot come at the cost of the comfort of others, of challenging the other person, of creating trouble for the other person. And this has to be looked at from three angles, and very important angles. The first thing that happens with people who are only emotionally honest but not emotionally intelligent is that they do this without permission. They don't ask the other people, or they don't seek permission, or they don't see the circumstance or the boundary, and they just dump the emotion. So think about this. One of the spouse got disturbed at a certain function, a marriage or a birthday party or something, and he or she just dumped his or her emotion on the partner without really thinking that others are watching. Or the parents took the child and went to a mall, and without really thinking of what will happen, they started screaming at the child because they did not like the child's behavior. Or the manager, he just walks in into a meeting, and because he or she is frustrated with his team members, started blasting them there. Or there's a particular individual who did not like what was said in the meeting, and then without seeing how that attack will be perceived or how the meeting will get derailed, you just screamed it, or you just said whatever you said, or you asked nasty questions, or you made faces. So what is happening? Without even checking if that environment can handle what you have to share, without really seeking permission, without really being contractual, saying that I need to share something with you. Can we say this? Is it okay if I take some time to share my emotions? Without seeking that permission, without seeing the safety of the environment, without seeing the social repercussion, without seeing the impact on how what will have on others, you're just dumping your emotion. Do you understand the problem there? Right? So the first big problem is not seeing the time and place, not seeing the situation, and dumping your emotion. It's important to share your emotions, but you cannot just do it anywhere. You cannot just do it at your whims and fancies. Being emotionally honest doesn't mean that the world has to dance to your tune. The world cannot be waiting for you to dump your emotion exactly when you need to do it. You, my friend, have to be very contractual. You have to ask the other person, can I share something with you? I'm feeling disturbed. Like, you come home and you want peace. You can tell them that, look, I really need a little space of my own. Can I do that here? Or should I just step out and maybe go for a walk? Right? Or when people want to talk to you, and they're emotional, and they're suddenly doing that, you can tell them, look, wait, let me just prepare myself before I do this? Or if you are the manager, before you dump your energy on the team, you can ask them, there is something I really need to pass on as a critical feedback to you. Can I do that now, or do we need to do this later? Or if you're in a meeting, you can simply just hold yourself and say to the other person, let's park this. I'd like to talk to you separately about this. So you can always do those things. So my encouragement to you, please choose the time, place, and situation before you share the emotion. Don't create a scene. You don't have to go public with your emotions exactly at the time that you feel. Remember this first thing. And that's the first problem, not being able to choose a time, place, etc., because of which we are not emotionally intelligent. So, emotional intelligence means you choose when, where, and how you share your emotions. That starts everything from the situation to the language to the closed doors behind which you do this, or with preparation. The second thing, many times, instead of words, instead of gestures, instead of mannerisms, we focus on intensity. Like somebody who's feeling very angry starts screaming and shouting at the top of their voice instead of sharing the thoughts. Or you're feeling so sad and you come and make the entire environment gloom or gloomy by shutting down lights or changing the environment. Or you're so frustrated that in that meeting you say that is, this organization is not going to change, you are not going to change, and you just have a blast saying all the negative things about people, even though those are trivias. So the second problem that happens is, even if and it's sort of connected to the first one where I talked about not choosing the time and state, etc. Many of us can't even regulate the intensity of our emotion. Fine, you can be emotionally honest, but don't bring on so much of intensity, so much of heat. Don't overindulge in that, right? Because that situation is going to get really out of hand if you indulge in just the emotion. You have to see what's the overall cause, what is everyone doing, is this even their priority? So if you want to solve a problem, use words, use the intent. You can let others know your frustration or your thoughts in much kinder words with a lot more respect. So think about this. See, with the first two, I also want you to understand that many of us have labels in life. You may tend to say, oh, I'm a very emotional person. Oh, I suddenly burst. Oh, I have this little pressure cooker syndrome inside me. Oh, I can't control it when it comes to this. Oh, when I see that person's face, this happens to me. Or I can't stand injustice. I must speak against this. Or there is a rebel inside me, a black sheep inside me. There is an activist inside me. So there are these labels that we live behind. When you live behind these labels, or when you think that, look, you are in a relationship with me, you should understand. We are on the same team, you should understand. You are my team, you should understand that. Or you are my boss, you should understand that. Or you are my guru, you should understand that. Then you're having a replica, this thing. Or, this is my environment, this is my office, this is my home, I should be able to speak up here. So when you do all of these things, when you label yourself, or when you take your relationships for granted, or when you think that the situation or place where you are, that entirely belongs to you and you can take any liberty with it, when you do this, the first two problems will happen. You will not see the time, shape, etc. You will not see the context or the intensity, and you will just blurt out your emotions. You understand? So please be very cautious. Don't label yourself. Don't take your relationships for granted. Don't take your place for granted. Check your mood. Your emotions are your responsibility. As much as you become a victim of those, you can also change the other way around, and you can become a hero for your own self and change your emotions. So think about these first two things that I said. Uh, Choose to release your emotion contractually and regulate the intensity using words. Express yourself with clarity instead of just blurting out your emotions in a raw format. And the last thing that I want to talk about is attacking people, because when we are emotional, or when we are emotionally honest, we also tend to attack individuals. Sometimes the situation or the organization, etc. But invariably, there is some person to whom the angst, about whom the angst comes out, against whom the angst comes out. Don't do that. Because what can happen is, in that one situation, you can spoil that relationship for the rest of your life. Even if there is a chance of a recovery, you can completely destroy it. I mean, and who says a person should only be given a second chance? You can give people a lot of chances, because everyone makes mistakes. In fact, the person who's being emotional is now making a mistake and has made so many mistakes and will continue to make mistakes. To err is human, to forgive divine. We have read this so many times. And that's where When we are emotional, if it's about another person, don't bring that into focus. Bring the solution into focus. That will help us solve the problem and come forward and get things done in a much better way. So, all in all, beware of your emotions and your emotional honesty. Temper and balance your emotional honesty with emotional intelligence. And what emotional intelligence actually means is that you do share your emotions, but you share it contractually, with permission, with boundaries. You share it not in intensity, but with clarity of words, clarity of conversations, and you share it with a solution focus so that you can move things forward and get back to normal life. My question to all of you will be, and you have to think about this, what is more important to you? Is it more important for you to play victim, or say that the other person is wrong and claim that you are right and we claim moral victory? Is that your intent? Or going on with life and keep life moving positively, is that your intent? Think about this. When we are only being emotionally honest, many times it's just the concern is just being a victim, or the concern is just claiming moral victory over somebody else. It's never about moving forward in life. But when you're emotionally intelligent, it's about saying that I make mistakes, others makes mistakes, everybody makes mistakes. And when mistakes happen or when things go wrong, emotions come up. I will handle the emotions in a sane way. I will get on with life, and I will be positive and I'll get things done. This is not about hiding the emotion, or diluting the situation. It's about solving things and moving forward in life. Ask which is important. I really hope, for your own sake and for the sake of others around you, you stay in the emotionally intelligent zone while sharing what you're experiencing, and not just think about being emotionally honest without boundaries, without seeing the situation, without and by attacking others. Don't do that. Not a good place to be in.